Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. I'm David with Softron. Now today we're talking about doing breaking news events inside of your scheduled content. Now I'm very familiar with this. My background was in news production, and so I'm very familiar with how this process goes. You have your master control content playing, and then you want the control room to go live and then pass it back when they're done. So to do a join in progress. And we're going to show that how it's done in on-the-air video, and we can do it a few ways. We can do it through the GUI. We can do it via GPI and Apple scripts. We can do it via Stream Deck, and we can do it via REST API. And I think a lot of these ways are really cool because we can customize it based off your need. We can say, maybe go to Studio One, or maybe go to Studio Two, or maybe you have a newsroom camera already set up, and all those automations can be built. And we can even do it so the master control operator is getting an audible announcement letting them know that something's going to happen on a certain channel. So we're going to build all this out. I'm going to show you some of the examples, and let's get into it. So you see I have a schedule. It's just a 30-minute show. And that video file is actually just 30 minutes of time code running. And I'm using it to show how the join in progress is very accurate. You're going to see how that's done. I've already made a breaking news playlist, and it's called Breaking News Studio One. And so I brought that live element in, I've labeled it, and I've even put a transition in there. So right here, I have breaking news animation. And so say we're going to do a breaking news event. It would just be easy for me to open this playlist and hit play. We're going to see the animation right here on our output preview. And we're in breaking news. So the control room is on the air. Now, all I would need to do inside the GUI is pretty simple. I can just go to schedule and resynchronize scheduler, because we're just using the scheduler document and it's going to join us back. So when I hit this, it's going to give us an alert saying this has been requested. Hit OK, and you see we're right back in time, and you can see even this time matches exactly with what the clock is saying, so we know it's going to match. And of course, it doesn't just have to be one file in the playlist. It can have multiple files, so if you have a bunch of 30-second commercials and 4 or 5 minute blocks, it's going to go through the whole playlist and find the right time to join. I'm just using this one file with time code so you can see how it is accurate. So you just saw me do it with the GUI, and next we're going to do it with the Stream Deck. But before we get to that, I want to build a script that asks for this playlist to run, because we see it worked, we like the transition, and I want to recall it just as it was. So I'm going to build a script that asks for that playlist. Okay, so now I have script editor open. Now I've already built this out, and I have other videos that show a little bit about Apple scripting. But you can see I have on action parameter, and at the very end action. That's very important for these processes to work. Make sure that's there. Okay, next I have say breaking news triggered on channel 1, and I'm using a specific voice and a speaking rate of 180. You can play around with the different voices available, or you can just leave this out and it's going to use the default voice. Then I have tell application on the air video, and then I'm specifying the playlist I want open. Now, an easy way to find this is very simple. I'm going to right click here, go to my folder it's in. I can right click, hold option, and copy as path name. So I can close this and I can just paste it in. Same thing, compile, it's the same. Easy way to get the path. Then I'm doing the say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's actually going to count us down. And now I'm saying specifically tell first clip of playlist. I give the playlist name to play.
So after recording this, I made a slight change to the Apple script. I added this try to tell the playlist name whether it had the .xpls on it or not. That can change based on your Mac OS setup. So that's why I did that. And remember, this Apple script is going to be available in our knowledge base.
So back to this, we tell it to play, and tell, and then end action. Now, I can't see if it's working here because it's on action parameter and end action. There's nothing calling that action. But the easy way to test this is what I'm about to show you. I can click here, put 2 dashes in front of on and end. I'm going to compile it. So I've put my 2 dashes in and I've compiled, and now I've closed the playlist, and now I'm going to run it. So like I said, you're going to hear it say something. It's going to then count us down after it opens the playlist and then play it.
Breaking news triggered on channel 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, so we see it's playing. So that's great. That's what we were hoping to see. So let's remove the 2 dashes, hit compile, and hit save. Now it's very important on where this is saved. This needs to go into the application support for Softron, then on-the-air video and on-the-air video actions. And the easiest way to navigate there is go to your settings, actions, and this little arrow will take you to where that file needs to be. So once you have that action inside of there, you're actually able to trigger it right through on-the-air videos interface. So with the on-action parameter still enabled, I can go here and run it. It'll give us a warning.
Breaking news triggered on channel
And we see it's working.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
There we go. Okay, let's go back. Close this. We know it's there. Now we can use this in Stream Deck. We can use it for the GPI, and we can use it via REST API. So I have the little Stream Deck Classic here. And so inside my interface, I'm going to hit plus, Classic. I'm going to build my own. Now we have this option here that says execute action. So this execute action is going to allow me to specify and call and trigger specific functions. And so this is how we're going to actually trigger that Apple script. So I can hit plus, and there's name and selector and parameter. I've already filled this out in my breaking news. So I've called it breaking news, execute action with name. And then the parameter is exactly what the Apple script was. So breaking news trigger _ studio 1. And make sure this is spelled correctly. Execute action with name. Action with name is all capitalized for those first letters. And there is a colon at the end. To add a custom image, just double click. I've already done that. And then hit apply. Now I can drag the breaking news to this button, hit OK. And you might be wondering, well, why isn't it on the button yet? It's because we actually had to drag that preset page over to the Stream Deck. So now I can drag this over and we see it says breaking news. I'm going to rename it. To get the schedule to resynchronize, I have another selector I'm going to use. So I filled this out. We have resync. And the selector is going to be resynchronize scheduler without confirmation. Now we're using without confirmation because we're using this via Stream Deck, and you might have it that's a little bit further away, and you might not be using the GUI, or you might not be able to see the GUI. So we want this Stream Deck button to automatically do the resynchronize without having a pop-up like we did when you're running it with the GUI. So let's see how this works. I'm going to hit apply, and I'm going to drag this button in, hit OK, and now we see it's there. If I look at my Stream Deck, I have the 2 buttons. And now I'm going to go back into on-the-air video, and I'm going to hit the breaking news.
Breaking news triggered on channel 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, breaking news is on the air. And now I'm going to trigger the resynchronize. We're back. The next way I'm going to show you how to trigger breaking news and rejoin is actually with our GPI commander. Now, I actually have a test button here. I have a little test configuration so I can hit all the switches and I can see all the light up. But with this GPI commander box, it's really easy to run, a 2-wire cable like audio wire, and then have a push button trigger to then advance your playlist if you want. If you want to have it trigger the breaking news and do the rejoin, there's a ton of things you can do. Even just control your computer normally. On GPI commander and the controller app can all do that. So let's see how we're going to set this up. So now that I've built that Apple script, I'm actually going to assign that to a specific input to the GPI commander. And it's pretty easy to do. So I'm going to go to Applications, GPI Commander. And in here we have Actions and then Input 6. And we can see that it says on action, input on status, and serial, and if input is true. That means if input 6 is turned on, then it's going to do whatever you define. And then, of course, end that if. So now I'm just going to paste what we did for the breaking news. I'm going to take everything we've done, copy between the 2 actions, go here and paste it, compile, we see it's done, and I'm going to hit save. Now, there's other actions you can do with on-the-air video, and if you need to see how to do that, it's pretty simple. Go to Window, Library.
That opened this library window on the right-hand side.
I'm going to hit plus. I'm going to go to Applications, on-the-air video, and open. So now I can see all the options that are available for the on-the-air video AppleScript library. And there's quite a bit.
Okay, so I have the breaking news trigger on 6. Let's put the resynchronize scheduler on 8.
I'm going to open input 8. I already have it here. And then on the same thing, if input status is true, tell application on the air video to resynchronize schedule. So this one's pretty simple. So with my GPI commander here, I'm going to hit my fancy buttons. So input 6.
Breaking news triggered on channel 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
There we go. And now input 8. And we've rejoined. And you can see we're right back on time. Okay, so we've seen the GUI, the Stream Deck, and the GPI. Now let's take a look at REST API. Okay, so I'm going to use Postman. That is a Mac application that allows you to trigger REST APIs. It's very simple. I like it. It is free, so added bonus there. So let's take a look at that application. So I've built a GET, and I have my localhost address. Of course, this can be your machine's IP address. The port is 8081 for on-the-air video by default. And now I'm talking to actions. Again, it's those same actions, those Apple scripts. So we can trigger Apple scripts via the REST API. So actions / the one we made, breaking news trigger _ studio 1, and then /run. So when I hit send,
breaking news triggered on channel 1. 5,
playlist
4,
is open,
3, 2, 1.
and it's running. For resynchronize, I built another one. Same thing, localhost for mine, and 8081 /scheduler /resynchronize. So let's fire this, and we're back in time. So that's 4 different ways to control the breaking news event, whether it's going to the breaking news and then going back into your scheduled content. And I think that makes it very easy for all the different production members and for the master control operators. And when you have the REST API, that means we can use it from something like BitFocus Companion as well. So it doesn't have to be the Stream Deck that's actually attached to the machine, but it can be a Stream Deck that's off in a different room. And I've done other videos that talk about Apple scripting. We can even make this breaking news event send a message, whether it's by Teams or via Slack, that says that a breaking news event happened and when you went on air and off air. It will be very similar to what I did with Movie Recorder when a file is done. So there's a lot of options here, and I think it just helps the overall workflow. Now, if you have more questions about this, whether it's about on-the-air video, Movie Recorder, Apple scripting, really when it comes to anything about Softron, feel free to reach out to us on our contact support, our knowledge base. You can call us. And of course, always subscribe to this channel because we're always trying to answer your questions here. Thanks for watching.